I'm Smriti Sudesh and welcome to About the Fold show. We begin with a look at key election trends in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. Also ahead, a political row in US over birthright citizenship, tensions in West Asia over Strait of Hormuz, a key shift in West Bengal's campaign landscape and more. So stay with us for the full report. Polling for the Tamil Nadu Assembly elections has concluded, with the state witnessing a record turnout. To get a clear sense of the voting trends, we are joined by our Deputy National Editor Srinivasan Remini and Senior Associate Editor Ramakrishnan T. Over to you both.
In what must be seen as a well-contested assembly election in Tamil Nadu, provisional figures released by the Election Commission show that a historic turnout in percentage terms has been registered today across Tamil Nadu. As I am looking at recent numbers released by the Election Commission, close to 84.5% of the electorate has turned out to vote, and even in places, cities like Chennai, which are not known for very high turnout, the turnout has exceeded 80%. The question then arises, is this turnout a result of a political contest, or is this just related to arithmetic, considering the fact that Tamil Nadu was one of the states which experienced a large number of deletions due to the SIR. To discuss that, we have with us our Senior Associate Editor, T. Ramakrishnan, whom we fondly call TRK, and a veteran political analyst who has watched Tamil Nadu very closely. TRK sir, how do you read this claim that the turnout figures are an outcome of the so-called political contest, which is many are claiming to be a three-way political contest in
Right. Well, of course, one is this. I am not going to, dismiss this importance of SIR. Right. It has brought down the figure.
Yes.
I think 70 lakhs or something.
67 lakhs.
67 lakhs. Okay. My reading is that they have cleaned up the electoral data to some extent. I won't say that still the electoral rolls are error-free and all that. Number two is, of course, this presence of a new player, Vijay, the TVK. That has also instilled a lot of interest in among people in participation. And then you have this, assembly election. Normally, greater number of people turn up at booths that is compared to Lok Sabha elections. So let us
discuss some figures, sir.
If you take this 2024 Lok Sabha election, around in absolute terms, because we will discuss only about absolute terms for the time being. So for about 4.3 crore. So now it has gone up to 4.8 crore. So that is 50 lakhs. But as I said earlier, the number of people turning up during assembly elections is always greater.
4.6 crores in 2021.
4.6 is 21. So, and then moreover, last 20 years if you take, the impersonation, the problem of impersonation has been almost eliminated. Has been almost eliminated because of your the photograph of the voter against the name. And then webcasting, so many things. Surveillance has been also intensified, and particularly in Tamil Nadu, the system is better administered. I could see a palpable mood for regime change. How it is going to take place, we don't know. But there is a palpable. So that would have also brought in more number of people.
You cannot limit it to saying just it's an arithmetic change. It could also involve a political moment because of several factors that include the inclusion of a popular actor in the fray. And the fact that the ADMK BJP alliance, the opposition, is also playing a strong role in trying to tap into the anti-incumbency segment. So a combination of all three factors are responsible for this big turnout in percentage numbers. Just to contextualize the arithmetic that we talked about, as you rightly pointed out, sir, 4.6 crore voters turned out in the 2021 elections. This time it might go even further. Provisional figures say 4.8. Normally, between 5 to 6 o'clock, the numbers go up and they are reconciled by the ECI in a day or so. Probably even 2 days. So we might come to know the final figures only 2 or 3 days from now. That said, if you look at the trend from 2006 onwards and the electorate numbers for each assembly elections and the voter turnout for each assembly, only the absolute turnout, then we would have expected 4.8 to 4.9 crore voters this time also. So clearly arithmetic is also making a big impact in terms of the percentage vote. So Tamil Nadu elections, therefore, in a way, continues to also carry the trends from the past, but in a way it has also added a new variable this time.
I would also add one point, that is one point of concern.
Right.
You see, Tamil Nadu has been notorious for this distribution of money by various players at the time of election. So the money power also plays a part, whether you like it or not. It's not, it's not something that Tamil Nadu can take pride.
Anyway, I think we have discussed quite a few points. Let's wait for the assembly results to be out on May 4th, and then we will discuss further as to whether the three-cornered fight played a factor in the results, and which way did it, how did it play out?
Meanwhile, the West Bengal Assembly elections concluded with a massive voter turnout amid sporadic incidents reported over alleged EVM glitches, voter intimidation, and attacks on candidates. Here's a report.
West Bengal saw brisk polling in the first phase of assembly elections, with over 91% turnout across 152 constituencies in 16 districts. The opening phase will decide the electoral fate of 1,478 candidates in the 294-member state assembly. Dakshin Dinajpur led with 94.85% turnout, and most districts recorded more than 82% polling. Voting was largely peaceful, though sporadic incidents of violence, clashes, and allegations of voter intimidation were reported from several areas. In Birbhum, polling was briefly halted after allegations of EVM malfunction triggered protests and clashes with security personnel. Similar clashes were reported in Purulia's Budhpur village over alleged EVM glitches. In Murshidabad, tensions flared with reports of altercations, protests, and allegations that voters were prevented from casting their ballots, prompting the Election Commission to seek a report. The Election Commission of India also suspended all polling personnel of a booth at the Pingla Assembly segment in Paschim Medinipur district after they allegedly left the polling station unattended during voting hours. There were also attacks on candidates. BJP leader Agnimitra Paul's vehicle was pelted with stones in Asansol, while BJP candidate Subendu Sarkar from Kumarganj alleged he was injured after his car was attacked and vandalized. In Nandigram, the TNC accused police of working in favor of the BJP, while the opposition alleged intimidation by ruling party supporters. The Election Commission deployed around 2,450 companies of central forces and placed several districts under special surveillance. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee questioned the scale of deployment, asking whether such a large presence was meant to intimidate. Politically, reactions remained sharply divided. Mamata Banerjee said the polling so far shows the Trinamool Congress is in a position to win. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, however, said the high turnout makes him certain of a BJP landslide, adding that the results would make the expiry of what he called the TMC's 15-year-old syndicate system and Mahajangal Raj. Union Home Minister Amit Shah said not a single intruder would be allowed if BJP comes to power. Despite the tensions, there were lighter moments too, when a wandering elephant named Ramlal briefly entered a polling booth at a primary school in Jargram's forested Jungle Mahal area, delaying voting. Forest officials later guided the animal away, after which polling resumed and voters returned to queue up. The second phase of polling will be held on April 29th, with counting scheduled for May 4th.
In international news, US President Donald Trump shared a controversial video targeting India and China over birthright citizenship and amplifying remarks by conservative author and radio host Michael Savage. The footage, originally aired on the Newsmax series The Savage Nation, was highlighted by the commentary Donald J. Trump post from the Truth Social account, a platform that reposts the president's social media activity. In the clip, Savage claims that immigrants exploit US laws by arriving in the 9th month of their pregnancy, so that a baby is born in the country becomes an instant citizen, after which he alleges that they can bring the entire family into the US from China or India or some other hellhole on the planet. He also criticized arguments presented before the US Supreme Court on the issue, describing them as overly technical, and targeted the American Civil Liberties Union, calling it the head of the snake and accusing it of pushing policies that could alter the country's demographics and turn America into a cesspool. Savage argued that the issue should not be left to courts, instead calling it to be decided through public opinion. The video shared by Trump comes amid ongoing debate in the US over immigration policy. Temi, meanwhile, said it has seen reports, however, it has not responded. A US embassy spokesperson said, "The president has said India is a great country with a very good friend of mine at the top." Also making headlines, political consultancy firm IPAC has paused operations in West Bengal days ahead of polling, following the ED action and the arrest of a co-founder. What led to the decision and what are its broader implications for election campaign and political consulting in India? Political editor Nistula Hebar explains.
On Monday, news broke out that the IPAC, following Enforcement Directorate raids on several offices and premises belonging to that company, and the arrest of one of its founders, Vinesh Chandel, sent out an email to many of its contractual employees that, and I quote, "in view of certain legal issues, management has decided to pause operations in West Bengal with immediate effect." Such a happening just a few days before polling was a setback for the TMC. Right after Vinay Chandel had been arrested, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee asked why the centre was conducting ED raids during election time. She said, and I quote, "If you show them fear, I will ensure they join our party." Why did IPAC then decide to pack up? Now, earlier this month, the Enforcement Directorate conducted searches in Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and Delhi in connection with an alleged coal smuggling and pilferage case in West Bengal. Premises linked to IPAC co-founder and director Rishi Raj Singh were among those which had been covered. And as I told you earlier this week, the agency arrested Vinesh Chandel, who was again a director and co-founder. In January, Chief Minister Banerjee had sparred with the BJP over an ED raid at IPAC chief Pratik Jain's Kolkata house. When the raid was underway, Banerjee had visited the residence and emerged with a folder and a laptop saying it contained information about her party. This is not just about TMC and IPAC. It's basically also a message to other clients of IPAC that, we can put this kind of heat on you. Currently, IPAC is working for Jagan Reddy's YSRCP, MK Stalin's DMK, and has started working with Akhilesh Yadav, according to sources. Now, the narrative around these developments from the opposition side is that it sets a dangerous precedent for law enforcement agencies clamping down on political consultancies, which are largely seen as engaged as a government for a specific political or strategic activities and assignment. On the other hand, government says that enforcement agency, etc., work on their own logic, the logics of the case, and they follow wherever the evidence trail leads them. This particular event, it's not just for IPAC, it's for every political consultancy working with a political entity or a political party. This could be an inflection point, or it could just be another hazard of the job that they have to take on board when they take on political clients and enter the political frame.
In other news, following the fireworks tragedy at Mundathikodu in Kerala, authorities have decided to hold this year's Thrissur Pooram without fireworks while scaling down key festivities. The decision was taken at a high-level meeting at the Thrissur Collectorate, attended by ministers, Union Minister Suresh Gopi, MPs, elected representatives, and Devisam officials. While all major rituals will go ahead, the iconic Kudamatam or parasol exchange will be limited to 15 minutes with just 10 sets of umbrellas on display. The festival will be conducted largely in a ritualistic format with reduced visual extravagance. Core ceremonies including the Ilanithara Melam and Madathil Varavu will proceed as scheduled with 15 elephants lined up on either side for the processions. However, both the main and daytime firework displays have been dropped, with only a symbolic bursting of crackers planned. The government had initially proposed cancelling both Kudamatam and fireworks, but Devisam authorities maintained that Kudamatam, a central ritual, could not be omitted. Officials said the decision strikes a balance between preserving tradition and responding responsibility, with the victims of the recent tragedy remaining central to all considerations. Let's now turn to the Hindu Roundup for some of our exclusive content. In an editorial titled Persian Deadlock on the US and the War on Iran, the piece argues that Donald Trump faces a strategic stalemate with Iran. Despite claims of victory, Iran still controls the Strait of Hormuz and key issues remain unresolved. The editorial criticizes the US for continuing its blockade, which has derailed diplomacy and hardened Iran's position. It stresses that the ceasefire is only a pause, not a solution. It calls on Washington to lift the blockade and urges both sides to make concessions to restart talks and ensure regional stability. Tap the card above to watch the editorial on the Hindu's Originals YouTube channel. In a new episode of Business Matters, the Hindu's Bharat Kumar looks at how delimitation could impact states financially, raising questions over whether those that may lose parliamentary representation could also face fiscal losses. Here's a snippet.
For delimitation in the traditional sense need not be just a political mapping exercise. It could become potentially an economic one. In the Indian structure, it is not possible to look at representation in Parliament separately from the working of the Finance Commission. Historically, Article 275 of the Constitution has provided a mechanism for the Finance Commission to recommend aid or grants in aid to states. These are designed to help states with developmental projects and address revenue deficits. Political observers point out that recent commissions have often preferred discretionary funding, as seen under Article 282, under which grants are at the discretion of the union government and are not based on any clear formula, as in the case of Article 275, which allows grants to be based on Finance Commission recommendations. The argument goes that with potentially lesser representation in Parliament, the ability of these affected or potentially affected states, the ability of these states to question or check this shift towards discretionary resource allocation would diminish even further.
Turning to West Asia, tensions persist despite a ceasefire, as Iran has said it will not reopen the Strait of Hormuz while the US continues its naval blockade of Iranian ports. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Ghalibaf said, reopening the Strait of Hormuz is not possible amid a violation of the ceasefire, adding that a truce holds meaning only if it is not breached through such actions. The US standoff continues even as US President Donald Trump announced an indefinite extension of the ceasefire to allow more time for peace talks reportedly brokered by Pakistan. Iran has welcomed the effort but has not confirmed participation in further talks. Tensions have also escalated at sea, with Iran's Revolutionary Guard seizing 2 vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Maritime monitors reported multiple incidents involving gunboats, including a commercial vessel being fired upon, though no casualties were reported. The US military says it has turned back more than 30 vessels as part of its blockade aimed at pressuring Iran's economy, with both sides accusing each other of violating the ceasefire. Separately, following the Iran ceasefire, the US has also brokered a truce between Israel and Lebanon. However, new Israeli strikes reportedly killed 5 people, even as 2 sides prepare for a second round of talks in Washington. Lebanon is expected to seek an extension of the ceasefire and call for an end to Israeli strikes. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts on today's episode in the comment section. If you found this video useful, don't forget to share it and save the Above the Fold playlist so you never miss an update.